Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be deconstructing a very well sound designed and layered track by Uvita, Osfur and The Scripture called Area 3344. So let's listen to my remake first. I've managed to get it quite close to the original. Let's have a listen. So let's start with the kick and bass because it sounds like quite a busy composition, like there's a lot going on. But what I'm going to show to you in this video is that actually if you break down the individual elements of a complicated track like this, you can have a solid framework for making your own version and really leveling up your sound design and arrangements. So with any house track, you want to first focus on the kick and the bass. So the reason why is because this is the most important thing that people are going to hear in the club or at a bar or wherever someone's listening. So once you've nailed this, you have a lot of room to improvise over the rest of the track. So with the kick and bass, I've kept it very simple. The artist kept it very simple. So we just have basically a simple bass, which I've sound designed with a filter, tiny bit of distortion, and it's basically just a saw wave. This is inaudible pretty much. So that is basically the bass, and it's side chained to the kick. And the kick is just designed in Serum 2. And you want to think of this as the foundation for your track. Then on top of this, you begin to layer and create your groove. So let's now add in the chords. And you can think of the chords as a supporting element. So they're not very important, they're just emphasizing the pattern of the bass because the bass itself is in the sub-frequencies. So we have a wavetable here. You don't need to worry too much about the wavetable. It's just a filtered, it's basically a saw. It's like a nice plucky saw wave. And it's playing these two notes. It's playing the F sharp and the C sharp. The bass is playing the F sharp. So it's a basic chord here. I think it's a minor chord. Or a fifth. And if you notice, the EQ is applied at 188 Hertz, and that enables the bass to not have any conflicting frequencies here. So already with these three elements, there's a strong foundation for the next thing, which is this synth that comes in. So this synth it sounds really complicated and it's quite difficult to sound design it. But I'll break it down. So let's turn off the reverb and all of these effects. So that you just have the basic, the bare minimum. So let's just start with this wavetable here. It's in analog and it's called Medicine Hat. So the most important thing in the sound design here is the distortion and the bode. So let me turn off both of these effects. See, without those, it doesn't have any of that gritty, distorted texture. So all of these after filter are just shaping the sound. You can ignore them. The distortion is set to diode and it's quite high drive. So that adds a lot of grit to the texture of the notes. And then the secret sauce on this lead is this bode effect. And this enables you to add a shift to the sound so that it's also playing some shifted frequencies that you mix in with this knob here. So you can see as I increase the mix, it gets more and more glitchy sounding. And I noticed that's probably the closest I could get in Serum to the original in the track. You can go listen to the track, and it's a really interesting bit of sound design. Aside from that, there's just a tiny bit of reverb. And interestingly, there's an LFO assigned to the attack on this chaos Rosler shape. So there's a subtle modulation of the attack, which makes it sound like it's morphing and evolving. So if I accentuate this, it sounds like it's kind of reversing into the sound and swirling as well. So that's a trick for you guys as well, is if you assign this chaos filter, this chaos LFO to the attack, you can make your synths sound a bit more dynamic. So that's the main synth. When I add in all of these, it just shapes the sound further. So a lot of the high end's been taken out and this has been boosted. And then the supporting wavetables just add more depth to the sound. So it sounds complicated, but actually it's simple. It's just distortion and bode that are doing the majority of the work. And then obviously the pattern itself. That riff, they probably just played in with the keyboard to fit the groove. So then from here, we bring in shakers. So usually when I'm making shaker patterns, I will take a loop. So I've taken a shaker loop and then I put the sampler into slice mode. And you can see that it's basically playing slices. I can move this around. That's my preferred way of making Afro House shakers, and I've done the same here to accentuate the offbeat. And I've sent it to reverb. Sorry. And then we have this loop here as well, which is just an organic shaker loop. And this one is sidechained to the kick. Then to add even more movement, we have this hi-hat loop. And interestingly, we now have these three elements. And I want to play them with the bass and the chords to show you how they interact with each other. So the groove has been built very intentionally. So it's almost like they're playing off the bass pattern. And that's a mistake that a lot of producers make, is making their grooves counter or clash with the main driving rhythm of the beat. With the bass and the lead as well. So to keep the pattern interesting, there's also these one shots after every 2 bars. And note how they are also reinforcing the chords, the groove, with everything else. And you can just get creative with which one shots you use. This is just a percussion one shot and another percussion one shot as well. And we have loads of those in our packs, so you can just add them in as interest. And this is the way that professionals keep their tracks interesting and keep the listeners engaged. We even have a reverse clap here, which leads into every 2 bars. Just put this back where it needs to be. Okay. So on the drum group, let's just play it all. It's always a good idea to put some drum bus and compression just to glue everything together. So if I take this off, it sounds a bit thin. I put it back on. Sounds a lot fatter and better. So just a tip as well, if you go to the first video, you'll see the explanation of the wall of noise, which is a simple effect where you have delay and reverb and then group it together. And you can automate the noise to create this rising kind of white noise sound. So that's a really powerful technique. You just add delay and reverb and then group it together. And then after that, we have the FX group. Just simple FX every 4 bars just to keep the interest. So overall, it sounds really complicated, but once you deconstruct everything, it's basically just a simple bass line, simple chord progression, and some innovative sound design on the lead, and then some very carefully put together drum grooves with a lot of interest to keep the listener engaged. Let's play through it one more time. So hopefully you learned something from this video and you took away some sound design and arrangement tips. If you found it useful, please like and subscribe. If you like some of the sounds in this video, we have lots of packs available on our site. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.